Yeah guys, I've got a spark which I'm going to use to ignite the fire for a brand new episode of Skylanders Swap Force Lightcore Brightness Locke, because we waste no time getting straight into twisty tunnels and by extent the fire viper. Regardless, we got through Multiville in the previous episode with some epicness, Flashwing being a beast to no one's surprise, and Smithboom clutching out not once but twice because he is too invincible. He is a meme, so he lives on no matter what happens to him in his slot. But regardless, with him being a meme, he was so invincible and powerful that the enemies didn't stand a ghost of a chance. I say that as a funny ha-ha pun because Hex is still alive and she's undead, so ghosts and ghouls are all there too. Either way, today we're heading to the Twisty Tunnels and the Fire Viper, which I've said already. I've got to the point where I am now repeating myself. Regardless, as you can tell, I've had the change in attire, but that's purely because I was boiling in my hoodie and had to take it off to cool myself down a little bit. YouTube, please don't demonetize this because I'm showing some of my skin right on my arm over here. You know, I'm showcasing my biceps, so YouTube, please don't take this down for too much, you know, exposure and everything. Regardless of all that, we're going to skip over that cutscene and just admire the return of the iconic Captain America attire right here. Can't fault that as we tackle the last few episodes of the session. Hey, trolls, it's about time they started preparing in this game, you could say. And I've just realised who we get to play as next. That was me prematurely celebrating the fact that I'm going to get to play as Drobot shortly, because the next element of the area to pop is going to be tech. Like so. And you know who the giant representative of the tech element is? Your boy, Drobot. I'm absolutely going to annihilate these enemies, and I am not going to feel sorry about it in the slightest. Let's go. You got Cadet Crusher, do ya? And there's the hammer for said Cadet Crusher. Okay, let's shoot these fools. Okay, my afterburners didn't quite hit him, but that's fine. I love the fact that Drobot's voice is kind of like a subtle reference to Soundwave because his signature phrases are very similar, his personality is similar. He's like if Soundwave was a good guy, you could go as far to say, and then not to mention his voice, his robotic voice, is similar as well. Just the entire character reminded me even of my favourite Decepticon from the Transformers series. It's just really, really cool. I very much admire Drobot for that, his personality, mind you, and just how damn cool he sounds. Anyway, getting this was no doubt a mistake, because now I distracted myself from a combat. I'm actually going to use this guy's gears. Yes, I actually just did that. I can't believe it too. The good thing about his gears though is that when you're using your afterburners to run off, they actually fire backwards, so you can hit enemies whilst you're, you know, tactically retreating. But, you know, just because this guy is OP doesn't mean I'm going to be stupid when I'm playing as him. I'm still going to take as few risks as possible, because at the end of the day, that's exactly what you should do with a lot. Low risk, high reward and all that. Play it safe. Heroes are great, but they're also dead. And there's no use with a dead hero, no, is there? At least not as much use as a hero who's still alive, mind you. So let's be shooting away all these things and grabbing this treasure chest back here. Sweet. Don't mind if I do, if you're leaving it as far as saying. So yeah, now that we've grabbed every last bit of that gold right now, let's continue on. Hey, look at that, it's sharpening. Yeah, it's kind of strange though, because I believe none of these desert levels have the water element, which makes sense. You know, they're kind of dry and barren, so the water element wouldn't really be very fitting for the setting of the levels. But still, that's weird, purely because the last time water popped up was Mudwater Hollow, and water is one of the starter pack elements in this game, so you think they take more advantage of it, so you're encouraged to play with water more. Then again, I'm pretty sure there is a water element area in this level, but I'm pretty sure it's for an optional secret, so we're not going to be accessing it, you could go as far as saying. Regardless of all that, we did collect the story scroll.
For thousands of years,
that's a lot of years. A lot more years than what
I've
been alive, I can tell you that much.
Other favorites have included the Hydra.
Or is it? Maybe I'm invincible and you guys just don't know it. Rather than being 19, I'm 1019. I mean, you can tell that I have some sharp teeth. Where are they? Right there, I have a really sharp tooth. So naturally now I found a sharp tooth and didn't zoom in on it in the edit because that would be gross. Regardless of that, I have a sharp tooth right there, which means that I must be a vampire. How on earth I'm appearing on the screen before you, I have no idea if I am a vampire, considering that they can't, you know, be captured in film. But regardless, I'm a vampire all the same. Clearly, that's the one and only explanation for me being 1019 years old. Okay, watch out for the explosives right here, they can be really cheap because they're very difficult to avoid and deal way too much damage. What they are. Okay, there you go, take down all of those, then we can come over here and grab the single greatest middle star collectible type thing, the rubber ducky. You don't get much better than rubber duckies. Right, hint of sarcasm or shadow of doubt. As I go to itch my nose once again. The itchy nose can never escape me. Ever. The nose, simply put, just needs too much attention. Anyway, let's be grabbing this gold as it circles right round. It circles right round, baby, right round, baby, right round. Oh, do I? Do I really? Is that what I gotta do? Yeah, I suppose that's what I gotta do, so let's do it. You know, no point beating around the bush, let's just get straight into it. Oh my god, I actually used the gears again! And again! I know, I can't believe it either. But I actually defeated an enemy with the gears. What is this? Strangeness right now. Oh, there goes the fire gear golem. Unfortunately, I went straight into the blast of these fools right here. Yeah, the problem with those is that they don't just deal damage to where they're being shot, so the big circle things, but because they bounce and then explode, they deal damage in a wider area than that. So you've got to be very careful and just their trajectory is basically perfect. Hey, it's your boy Sharpfin right here. I love the fact how his burrowing in the ground has a similar type of animation to it as Terrafin. Considering that they're the same species, you'd imagine that they'd burrow underground in similar type manners. So it all but makes sense, you could go as far as saying. Don't trip! Oh, for fool, he tripped over. Right after I told him not to as well. Either way, he died to an electric wire, which deals barely any damage, so why couldn't they be that easy to defeat when I have to defeat him? Anyway, let's be continuing on right here. I was saying earlier about how this cast is basically perfect, this cast of Lightcore characters. And I've just thought of another way to make it perfect, rather than swapping out Rupture for Igniter. Swapping out Whamshell for Punk Shock. I mean, come on, Punk Shock is a beast, she has electric-based abilities, and in accordance to the logic of that cutscene that was before us, the enemies are extremely vulnerable to lightning. So then we have Punk Shock with her lightning abilities being dubstep broken, and we have a better character than Whamshell all around. Because yes, I do in fact think that Punk Shock is better than Whamshell. Those of you who disagree are wrong, because that's how opinions work. Oh, let's be grabbing that gold. No gold left behind and all that. I always love how he says yum. Basically just everything I love. Everything Drobot has even, I love. There's a single thing I dislike about this character, you could always go as far as say. Like seriously, this guy is so awesome. And there's so many reasons why he is so awesome that I even made a fucking top 10 about it. It's been enough of the... I was about to say shameless plugs, but it really isn't anything shameless about it. It's totally shameful, so... It's mostly a shameful plug than anything else. But regardless of all these plugs, go watch that video and we're going to continue with this one at hand. Especially for those of you who love Drobot, because that was basically a love letter to the character. You're welcome. Elementalist, sweet. There's also one of these Skylander quests that are about eating food, like if you need to eat 90 pieces of food, and the easiest way to do that is to tackle one of the bonus mission maps. I can't remember its specific name, but you have to go around eating as much food as possible, so of course naturally that makes it perfect, that quest, because you're eating so much food. Not to mention it's so quick and so fast paced as well, that it can be over and done with within 3 minutes, and the next thing you know, you've got your Skylander a bunch of experience because there's loads of enemies scattered around the level. You've also got some quests completed because you've ate all that food. So regardless, it's just a great quest for getting 2 birds with 1 stone and everything, which, you know, there isn't a far single more glorious thing to do in life than getting 2 birds with 1 stone and all that. Regardless, let's be popping Smolderdash onto the portal. Let's go, baby, bad girl! Oh man, I love the fact that this level is a level where I get to play as all of the OP characters. Like seriously, I've played in the same level my 3 favourite characters of the roster. Anyway, the moral of the cutscene is defeat the Swellcoat Bastard first. So that's what we're going to do. Oh, goodbye. This character has no right being as good as she is. Goodbye! That knockdown is so huge, you can charge that up so easily and just create absolute annihilation on screen right there. Like seriously, what is this character? This character is so stupid, I love her. Oh man, it's almost like she's my 2nd favourite Skylander of all time. If it wasn't for the fact that Igniter existed, she would be my favourite Skylander of all time. She was my favourite Skylander of all time until I bought Igniter. Well, I say I bought him. The fun story behind Igniter is that actually, I'm not going to swap out the tech element because it's about to swap back to the fire element very, very soon anyway, so it's not really worth swapping out. But getting back onto my story because I've digressed for far too long. Everyone's favourite phrase that I seem to need to use every single video, despite the fact that that's the first time I used the word digress in this series, but as I digress. Yeah, the story behind Igniter is that my friend got him for me for my 14th... Was it my 14th? Or was it my 14th? It was 2014. So my 13th birthday would have been. My friend got me Series 2 Igniter. But because this was my 13th birthday of the year 2014... It was just before Trap Team came out, first of all, and second of all, it meant that for Christmas beforehand, Christmas of 2013, I got Lightcore Smolderdash, and at that time, those 10 months between getting her and getting Series 2 Igniter, Smolderdash was my favourite Skylander. And then of course, finally getting Igniter from my friend for that birthday of mine, and finally being able to play as Igniter, I learned one very important thing that day, that Igniter is the single greatest Skylander ever created. Valuable lesson, that one. Either way, so yeah, that commentary got pretty crazy for a moment there, didn't it? You know, I think everything I just said, from when I play Smolderdash onto the portal to this exact moment, just everything, every word of mine, put that on a shirt, every last word, every one of them. You know, I think that would make a pretty glorious shirt if you were to ask me. Anyway, it's time to risk it all for that rubber ducky. Why? I don't know, because I'm stupid. No other reason. There you go. Can we just jump down here? Because that would be so much more easier than going back through the shockwaves. Ha! The game said no. But what does it matter? I got all this platforming skill, mate. Boom, baby. No shockwave damage for yours, truly. And it was all for rubber ducky, which means that in the end, it was 100% worth it. Alright, no sarcasm all settled down. Okay, here we go. The secondary Evilized Crystal's been destroyed. So I know the Wii version for this game looks atrocious. It looks like vomit, but what's very interesting about the Wii version is that this level is actually glitched. When you destroy that Evilized Crystal, the objectives are accidentally misidentified, and that is classed as the 3rd crystal. rather than the second one, so you basically get the level objective earlier than you're supposed to. Unfortunately, you can't use that to skip this last half of the level. If you could use that as some sort of level skip, it would be insane, but you can't. Either way, we've got to remain a Smolderdash, which means that we have a turret section coming up. So Smolderdash needs to single-handedly get through that turret section. Wish me luck, and we're gonna need it. Okay, this time we're going to stay away from the big bad man. There you go, we got him, sweet. I mean, we could have just advanced without fighting him, but where's the fun in that now, right? I mean, it's certainly not as fun, but it certainly is less risky, which is exactly what we need to get in the habit of doing, because low risk, high reward, that is the traditional way of tackling a Locke after all. I'm forgetting my own advice over here. Anyway, let's watch out for the giant red magma ball thingamabobs. I like that plan. Okay, there you go, jump straight over there, right there, sweet. Okay, and through the glowy thing we go. Okay, so there might have not been any like water elemental areas that are mandatory parts of the level, but there was a water gate back there, so I suppose water isn't completely absent in the entirety of this level. And by extent the desert levels, because last time I checked this is a desert level. Anyway, this means that Pulp Fizz is going to have to tackle not only the next section, but for Fire Viper as well. But here we go with the turret section. Got to keep my head screwed on, otherwise, you know, I'm going to get overwhelmed by these enemies, and it's got to be not going to be much fun dying to a turret section or thing. Because unfortunately, in most Skylanders games, if you fail a turret section, you're just forced to restart. It doesn't actually kill off your Skylander. But Swap Force did it completely differently. In Swap Force, your Skylander is technically defeated when they lose all their health in the turret section. So naturally, if Smolderdash is defeated here by a turret section, then that's going to count as a death. As bullshit as it is, a death is a death. So naturally, I'm going to be trying to avoid that of all things, because the last thing I want to do is lose my favourite character in the Locke to a proper turret section. There we go. With my head screwed on. Can't emphasise that enough. Even though how much that's going to help, we're about to find out. Okay, sweet, there goes that one. There goes that guy. And there goes them fools, sweet. Okay, where are some more fools at? Perfection at hand! Luckily we got a coin bonus as well as a food bonus. That food bonus would have been much greater if we hadn't put damage beforehand. Or if we had even, because that way we could have healed up damage. But instead there was no damage to even heal up. But at the end of the day, I suppose that's, you know, better, because no damage is the best damage, is what I'm going as far to say right here. At least inflicted upon us. The best damage upon our enemies is all of the damage. All of it, I tell you! Anyway, time to initiate my concentration phase once more. If you have to worry about defeating an enemy or shooting down one of their missiles, definitely focus on the missiles. There you go. What does it look like I'm doing, Shark Fin? There you go, we got him. Honestly, I'd rather just not have to deal with this turret section and instead just deal with the enemies once we finished it and got back to the ground. That would make my death right here far less likely. But that was too much to ask for, unfortunately. There you go, got them all. Oh, but now we've got this guy to worry about. There you go, sweet. More of them, exactly what we needed. Not really, that's what we call sarcasm in the old business. Okay, watch out those guys, sweet. And that guy too. I don't much like that guy. Okay, there you are. Oh, here comes another big guy, just for good measure. Why are there so many of these guys? I don't remember this code section being so long and drawn out. Hey, another perfect, let's go. Point bonus and all. Oh, is it over? Yes, let's frickin' go. Not a single point of damage. That's what I call pressing the be good at the video game button. Anyway, hopefully, in having said that, I haven't just jinxed myself right here, because Pop Fizz, whilst he's a really fun character, he's not necessarily the best character to tackle on these specific portions of the game, being so melee orientated and all. I'm sure he does have ranged attacks, but they aren't as ranged as Star Strike, for example. Watch out for that there, fire, magma, bally, thingamabob. What we're going to do here is we're going to take minimal risk, and by that I mean basically just skip over this combat section entirely. You know, why tackle a combat section that we don't need to, right? That's just unnecessary risk. Who cares if it's cowardly? It's for winning way is what it is. Okay, we can't advance right now because that magma wall is coming after us, so we might as well. I think I'm that guy. Oh boy, everyone's coming back at us. Whew! How am I not dead? And that, my friends, is why I don't tackle that combat section right there. I mean, the combat is fine, sure. The main problem is that air gig on. It deals so much damage to you, it's so difficult to avoid, especially when you have to get up close and personal with your attacks like Pop Fizz does over here. And on top of all that, there's also the fact that the firefight was also firing at you, so I just prefer to have Pop Fizz alive so we can absorb those giant chompies out there. Look at that. I love the fact that when you defeat this here, you know, crystal, what happens is that it explodes and enemies around you are defeated to give you 3 experience. So I like the fact that before it explodes, you can see the enemies outside the crystal orb for the sake of the context. It's a great attention to detail and all that. Plus you get to see just how big the enemies look from here. But it sure is convenient that they had a shrink away from the crystal right outside the crystal's location, isn't it? What would it do without the shrink ray being in that exact spot? So now, with that being said, let's make those enemies explode that we saw from inside the crystal and prepare for the firefight. Because let's just say this boss fight is easier said than done. Let's further on. Boom! And boom! Let's go! We even completed 2 accolades. Let's go! Or accolades, as I called it in the first episode of the series, as I hiccup away apparently. The more you know. Anyway, let's be taking this thing down about further in. Yeah, I much prefer this right here, right now, over the Academy incarnation, because one thing I hate about the Academy is that they gave the Firefighter speaking lines. And worst of all, you know, it's fine giving the Firefighter speaking lines, but do they have to be those speaking lines, considering just how cringy the words coming out of its stupid mouth are? Like seriously, the firefighter is so damn annoying in Academy. It says stupid stuff. The fact that it says anything at all is stupid. I seriously hate the firefighter in the Skylanders Academy. It's so dumb, it's so stupid, and I hate it. I truly can't emphasize just how much I hate that stupid firefighter in Skylanders Academy. I think the show would have been elevated just by the firefighter not opening its stupid mouth. That alone would have made the show even better. Anyway, it's time for me to focus on the boss fight at hand right now. With this being nightmare mode, these crystals take forever to be defeated by Pop Fizz's attacks, but luckily it's going to remain this way until the crystal is defeated. There's no time limit to it, which sure is damn convenient, isn't it? Okay, Sharpfin, will you load the crossbow already? Thank you, Sharpfin. Okay, let's get behind that Terror Squid Tentacle, quick like, sweet, we made it. And here goes crossbow again. Sweet. My goal is always to try and get through these without taking a single point of damage. You know, that's going to be an additional star and it's just going to look so damn cool to capture it on film. But, you know, if I don't do that, then not losing Pop Fizz period is good enough for me. Here you go, there goes the crystal, baby. Sweet. Oh, he's jumping. He's jumping like a madman. So it turns out I'm running out of storage on my phone. I have enough to finish the recording of this level, but I'm not going to be able to record the Boney Islands directly afterwards. I know I said I'd finish this session at Winter Keep, but I lied, so looks like we're ending off this session after the firefighters been defeated. That's if we defeat them with our 15 Skylanders remaining. Who knows, we could lose all 15 Skylanders here. Hopefully we don't, that would be tragic, but still, there's a possibility. Anything in this Locke is a possibility. Especially knowing me and everything. Okay, let's shoot this guy again. I like that at 50 in particular. Okay, here we go. I love the fact that there's plenty of heat, so if we take damage we can heal up. But we've got one more phase of this, and then we've got to deal with, you know, his insides, which is pretty gross if you were to ask me. It's kind of funny as well that his eyes, you can see from back here, bob up and down, not his eyes, his eyebrows even. The eyes, eyebrows are basically the same thing. Regardless of all that, I also love the attention to detail to where everything that is blocked from the fire blast is seen by the shading of the terror squid tentacles. That's really cool. Ouch. So much about not taking any damage this boss fight. But yeah, that's a great attention to detail. Oh boy. Watch out for these blasts. I'm going to risk it and go for the pizza. In the end, that did not work out. But yeah, I love the fact that a traditional cartoon image to show a character being confused would have stars being shown around their head, or their eyebrows bobbing up and down, and that's exactly what this guy does. You can see the eyebrows bobbing up and down with sheer detail on the enemy, on the forehead of the firefighter. So great attention to detail, really cartoonifies this game. But what I don't appreciate right now is Pop Fizz taking that damage whilst I try to explain to you how great of a cartoon this game is, because man, now I'm depressed. I'm cut off everybody's favourite character because Grim Creeper is a fan favourite, Pop Fizz is definitely a fan favourite, so I'm so sorry guys. I did not mean to, but that means that now we got to select one of the SWAT Force characters. So we are gonna go with Bumbleblast, is what we're gonna do. He seems like the safe option. I mean, we could go with Flashwing, but she got recent screen time, so I want to dedicate more screen time to a character we haven't seen for a while. But yeah, that was unfortunate. Like, game, why can't you just chill out for 2 seconds and let me talk about cartoons? Is that too much to ask for? In accordance to the game's logic, yes. Yes, it is. But anyway, speaking of detail, not only is it cartoony that the firefighter's eyebrows bobbed up and down to show its confusion and just naturally the fact that it was stunned, but on top of that, he was glowing yellow to signify that he had been honeyized by Bumbleblast, which is just such a fun word, honeyized. I love the fact that I can immediately inflict positive energy into this video directly after Pop Fizz's death, mind you. It's like, that is the most anti-positive thing we've had this entire episode, and yet somehow I'm still able to just bring about some positive energy of my own. Don't know how I manage it. I mean, I'm so depressed we lost Pop Fizz, but at least I'm being entertaining about it. Luckily for us, Bumbleblast exists, and he's dumb super broken. Like, seriously, look at this absolute annihilation right here. Goodbye! Yeah, if you guys want to get through this boss fight without taking any damage, I do highly recommend Bumbleblast, because so long as you can avoid the obstacles, which are the hardest part of the boss fight, you can defeat those fire gigons no problem with this character, as you saw before you right there. Like, if only the element of the area going into this boss fight was life instead of magic, even though we would have had to swap out for Smith Boom, considering that it was a giant cycle. But still, Smith Boom would have the most likely survived than Pop Fizz, because I always make this boss fight look harder than it actually is. That's my tendency. You could go as far as say, which is quite unfortunate. But regardless of all that, we still got through. We got 14 Lightcores remaining, heading into the final half of the game, so I'm feeling confident moving forward, and that's always a good place to be, having your confidence at its peak, mind you. Either way, we're going to be pressing for best button video game, more specifically mashing it so we can skip over this worthless cutscene right here, because story, yeah, who cares about that, right? Okay, sweet. we're gonna do for final activities of the Woodborough right now and prepare for Boney Islands for next episode, or next session I should say more specifically, which I'll most likely be recording tomorrow to be honest, so I'll most likely have the same attire still. You're not going to say goodbye to Captain America just yet, don't you worry. Actually, speaking of Captain America, the new Captain America, the Falcon and Winter Soldier, that show would have started by the time this episode is aired. Of course, because I'm recording these in bulk and in advance, I haven't seen the show yet, but I'm sure it's great. Just interesting how time works, I suppose. The fact that I can record these in advance, and by the time they come out months down the line, stuff would have happened, a lot of stuff. Who knows, might have even hit 1k subscribers by the time this video comes out, which would be mad if I've done so. Thank you guys so much for that. And even if I haven't, thank you so much for the support regardless. Really appreciate it, as always. Well, that's convenient.
Don't look now, but there's some dangerous looking volcano rocks heading this way. Do you want the honors of shooting them out of the sky?
Yeah, sure, let's do it. Actually, no, I changed my mind. Pretty cool, what do you mean? I didn't even test it out. I mean, I could have tested it out, I just didn't. So regardless of all that, you know, we skipped over the turret, so now we're going to head back down, go to the Super Bounce Pad, and talk to Sharkfin. Well, more specifically, leave the talking to the Sharkfin for the next episode. But yeah, for those of you who are really hyped to check out the turret section, or it's the thing that you're most looking forward to in entire this lock, and now I've just let you down, so now your disappointment is immeasurable and your day's been ruined because of that. I apologise to you very specific people, but unfortunately, man's got to do what man's got to do, and in this case, this man had to do for skipping the turret section. Regardless of all that, I will be seeing you in the next episode of the Skylanders Swap Force Lightcore Brightness Lock as we tackle the Boney Islands. And until that moment arises, peace.